to get them into music and how to do that. I just find that fascinating. I myself do not have a family yet, but I would just, that undertaking of how to go about that. Were there certain ways or things you decided on how you would introduce music to them, and then how that's kind of played out over their development? Because
Yeah.
I'm sure it's even different amongst the two. And
Yeah, it definitely is, and they're both very different kids. I have a 15-year-old and a 6-year-old, and when my 15-year-old was 8, I actually was telling the story today. I taught her all her. She was already showing a lot of talent. She's always had like a great innate sense of rhythm and great pitch, and since she was very young, and I taught her all her thirds and sevenths for the F blues for like a basic 12 bar F blues, and she was playing them. And she kind of playing. She played the melody for um, Blue Monk, and then she would
Mhm.
play that, and she would do it. She was killing, right? And I thought I was so proud because she's playing just thirds and sevenths and just going through the changes, and then I sent it to Stefan, and Stefan hit me back and said, "Hey, that's cool, man, but like maybe just help her find her swing. Like she got all her life to learn theory." And I was like, oh, and then we had a conversation about just giving her like a quadrat or a pentatonic or, something like that that works over the whole thing and let her just figure out like how she grooves and how she can communicate and not worry about, are you playing are you turning it around
Right, a
right?
deeper
Right?
skill, like thinking
Right.
of the deeper skill of feeling, not
When they're young,
whatever.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we did that, and she still does great. When she got into middle school and she went to an art school, went to Bach, and kind of educated her a little bit out of the kind of put self consciousness in her. Plus that, and she's an adolescent now, and all that kind of stuff. So, and she's starting to come back around now. So with my 6-year-old, my goal is to help her to have a positive relationship with music and see it as a place where she can express herself. So we haven't started anything formal. I have a couple books that I've been picking up when I see them, that I'm ready to get into it with her, but I want her to be the one who really is frustrated by not knowing something and wanting to learn more and wanting to be able to add to whatever she's doing. But right now, I was playing I Got Five on it. All of a sudden, I hear her playing I Got Five on it on the vibes. She picked up Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song on her own. And then now she's like improvising around it. So she's playing it with different rhythms. She's playing it with different things. She'll play it starting from 2 notes below and then hit the note right on it. So she's doing all this stuff, and I hear her in discovery mode. And that's what I want, And then she'll go with the I Got Five on it groove, the ba-dunk, gunk, da-dunk, and she'll go to the drum set and play it on the drums and try to find the melody on the drums. Now, I would have loved to have picked up that skill to think melodically on the drum set, when I was coming up instead of just rhythmically. So some people, yeah, I see some people out there, man, and the kids are in lessons at 4 or 5 years old. I was in lessons at 4, um, but I'm enjoying her point of discovery, and I think there's going to be plenty of time to take all of that innate sense of feel and this positive relationship with the music, and once you turn it a little bit formal, it's just going to add to what she's already doing. So I don't even say, if I'm like on this interview and she started playing out there, I would say it's not a good time. I wouldn't say stop playing. I wouldn't say no, you can't play, or I don't ever want to say that. I want her always to feel like she can play, and that might be nothing, but for me, it feels like a big thing. Or if she's
But
playing,
encourage thinking. Yeah,
yeah, and if
encourage
she
awareness.
right, and I just don't want her to think, oh, music's bad. I'm getting punished for playing music. I want her to just be like, okay, playing is cool. It's just not the right time. Or if she's playing like loud or beating them up, I'm like, hey, is that the nicest sound? What do you think about the sound you're playing? Well, is that pretty sound? No. I'm like, are you angry right now? Well, yeah, I'm kind of angry. Oh, okay. Oh, that's all right then. But maybe let me go put my headphones on, or something
Right,
like
right.
that. So just kind of connecting those dots. But as long as she has a positive relationship with it right now, then that's. And at the end of the day, I don't really care if they're musicians or not. I just think that there's skills you learn by playing music that are going to help them with whatever they do. And
Yeah, I thought that was something that was also really interesting about what you brought up in Stefan Harris's interview, which you were just saying that the skill set of being a musician that you get from practicing, whether it's the diligence of practicing or the open-mindedness or listening and being receptive to different people and different. I mean, all of these meta skills that really just make us good human beings all stem from a study of music. And to what you're saying, I was just curious that kind of answered my question, which is like, obviously as a musician, it's kind of like selfishly like, yeah, that'd be cool. They play,
yeah,
they pursue that thing. Let's be honest, but I think that's a healthier route in the long term that allows them to have their freedom on. Yeah, as long as you really have that solid foundation with music and relationship to it, that's all you ultimately or would
yeah.
be.
And I mean, there's no other thing that you're where you can, there's like, you have to make little, everyone goes into practice sessions and you feel okay after them, but you don't get like massive gains. It's like working out. Like you can't do 100 push-ups in a day. Better to do 10 push-ups, you know what I mean? Over the course
Yeah.
of time
They don't
every
walk
day.
out with like a new set of arms. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. And it's I think working out, music and to an extent, and spirituality really are the only three things where you really get the benefit of learning patience and consistent diligent effort over time is the only way to yield big results by concert time or by execution time. School doesn't teach you that. It's like learn the test and get it done. So I think there's value in it. They both know they got to be in. Like my older one knows music's not an option until she's somewhere else. But I don't care if she does it for a living. Like if she wants to go to college for whatever, it's not going to break my heart. Um, so. But I
Well,
hopefully
yeah.
no, but
No, I was,
hopefully whatever she's doing, like if she's out there, she go have a successful day in surgery and comes home and gets to jam on her vibes to let out some stress. That's to me, that's the goal.
that's the win. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
win. Yeah, well, I mean, that's awesome, and I get to see their development just through the stuff that you post, and it's awesome, and it's even inspiring just to see, that you guys are all, they don't just do it individually, but then you have, you guys all play together, you have your series with them that you've been doing during this time, where you guys are all performing music,
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
live. It's crazy because I'm trying to like. It's funny because and a lot of that's helping me to take myself less seriously too, and to realize what the point is. Because while I'm trying to play a bass line and I see my little daughter like noticing a butterfly and getting off beat while we're live on Facebook trying to record this, and I'm just like, hey, right now, here's the cue. Oh, and she comes back in, but I'm messing up in the meantime or playing stuff I don't like. It's just like, but that's not the point, man. At the end of the day, you know, no one's that this is the time I get to spend with my kids. You can't get that back. So something we all get to do together and share together and document, and that's
I mean,
that's
but
priceless.
that's why it's being received, right? Like that's why the on the flip side, the kind of response that you've seen and I see it like is always a very joyous response because that's what they're tuning in to see, right? I mean, you guys are covering great songs, but it's more than that they're looking for. They're looking for that moment that you're having with your daughters and that odd moment, that funny moment that, hey, we're all not going to take this too seriously in that sense because it's fun. It's
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's what the people willing to kind
Sure.
of the people willing to live that moment and kind of be more human are the reason that they're tuning into you over other. It's because it's just that's real life. That's not the perfect like I have my kids playing exactly and they never that's not really
Yeah, that's not the point. I mean, if that's what you're tuning in for, like, this is trash.
yeah.
These guys aren't. Where's that perfect pitch kid that just hears those crazy chords?
Well,
It's
yeah, and I mean, we see, thanks to social media, you can open up your phone and see every prodigy out there. They now all have their own Instagrams, but I, we also know through experience, like some of those prodigies, because of necessarily in some cases the way that they're brought up and the way that they're, hey, like that kind of the parenting system and that different from what you're doing, I feel like can ultimately make the kid feel a different type of relationship, and they're
yeah.
the ones with the most potential on the start.
See Michael Jackson and Joe Jackson.
Yeah, like,
I
the list
mean,
is endless on the damage.
yeah.
So that's awesome, man. And I just never have gotten to talk to you. I was always curious about your strategy or the way you were going about, kind of educating your kids with music because the results are awesome, and they're obviously all well, on their respective things they're into, they're great.
Yeah, and I try some like with Logan, every now and then I'll be like, she'll be like, hey, can you teach me? She'll ask and I'll show some. She'll no, I like doing it this way, and I'm just like, all right, well, when you're ready, just let me know.
Yeah,
And
you have to concede.
so that's yeah. So, but I'm trying to see where her strengths are at this age and play to them. Like she has a good sense of time. She likes to jam. She's very creative. So I can take that and say, oh, hey, I got a great idea. What does this sound like if you do it like this? I can't. But if I tell this little stubborn kid that, hey, this is the way it should be done, she's gonna be like, oh, no,
Yeah,
that's not the way I'm doing it.
why?
Right, that's not the way I'm doing it. This I like it this way. And I'm like, oh, but what if you did this? Do you hear how it does this? Oh, yeah, that's cool. And it's her decision. Then, so it's really helping me be a better teacher. But I don't have all the answers. It's just sometimes I get, especially when it's I get a little frustrated when we're trying to play, and I see it right there, and I want to show her the things, but it's day by day. This works, this doesn't work. At the end of the day, as long as they're positive experiences, even if they're frustrating, like my older one, I do work with her, and when I get down on her, she'll get some tears. But she's 15; the stakes are a little higher now. You know what I mean? Like the idea of pushing through something and perseverance is a real thing that I need her to understand. So I'll push a little more and say, and when I say push, I mean I'm not yelling at her. I'm just like, don't give up. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Nope, it's not there yet. And I know that sense of frustration where you're probably not going to get it right in this session, but the idea is let's just keep pushing. Let's see where we can get it to, and so it's a different level of, and as her father I can do that. So I try to be less about like, no, here are the notes, here's what's happening, versus you can figure this out. Like you can do this, you can make this happen. Like you have the strength, the power, and the knowledge. You don't need to ask me, I don't need to show you. You can figure this out, and we're not leaving until you figure it out. And
Yeah,
let
the
her,
internal endurance, that internal, like
Right.
that's going to serve her the rest of her life. Yeah,
Right.
100%.